So to give you guys some context on what I'm doing here, this is the rig that has served me for about a year or so. It was made out of aluminium, wood and styrofoam in there somewhere, and it wasn't designed in any way. I just threw components together just to have a computer working. And so I thought it was time to make a new one because I was getting kind of tired of getting the power supply shorted out and having the power supply sit on top of the CPU cooler and a bunch of horrible things. So without further ado, this is episode 1 of Plywood PC. Here you go. While we take out the components, you can sort of see my thought process or lack thereof while building this case. You know, usually when you build a case, you make it so that the case supports the components in the computer, right? That's not the case here because more or less the components support the case. Since the case is made out of what I had laying around, I couldn't really afford to take the time or effort to make it a little bit better. So, and also like the power supply is hanging by the power connector for the CPU, so that's not very good. Also the fans are connected here by hot glue, which again you can see it's not a very good idea since hot glue melts at high temperatures, right? And there are high temperatures inside of a computer case. Therefore these things tend to melt. There we go. Yeah, good. Alright, we'll take care of this later. This doesn't look very good. Now, what do we have to take out now? Let's try to take out the power connector here. Oh, Jesus. This is hard than I thought. Let's take out the marvelous power supply. By the way, this super flower power supply stuff isn't very good. For example, it doesn't have short circuit protection, which is something that you usually want to have in a case. Power supply. Power supply, here we go. Modular, but pretty bad. Okay. Now let's take out all the power connectors for the graphics card. Oh, this is hard. Ah, Jesus. Not good. You can see that I wasn't really thinking with modularity in mind. Here are the power connectors for the graphics card, power supply. Oh, that's not good. I shouldn't be doing that. You know, this is pretty much my every single data inside my computer. So I'm starting to make this, tear it apart, while not really knowing if I'm going to be able to finish this by the time my cameraman leaves. So I'll probably have to end this video quickly so I can actually edit it and have a computer in which to edit it. Right, what's left to do? Right, graphics card. You can see if you look here, this is the old back panel of another normal PC case. I have failed to find the right sizes and dimensions for the back panel and layout at the back of the case. That's going to make my life quite difficult while we make a new one, because I don't really want to use something like this again. It's not a very elegant solution. Oh, fuck me. There we go. USB 2.0, because we're cheap. Let's take out all the connectors. Oh, SATA. Cables that I don't really... Oh, that's the power cables. Yeah. Come on. Come on. No, I won't do it. Let's take out the graphics card first. Show it. There we go. This will be tricky. Man, I'm sweating. Right. Here we go. Graphics cards. Actually looks pretty nice, don't you think? Do you mind focusing? Alright, let's take out power connectors for the motherboard and USB plugs. And the one thing that I have done is steal one of these motherboard back panels from our case, which has saves me quite some time. Let's put this aside. Actually, you know what? Anything left here? Yeah, we should probably take this out. Yeah, here we go. Oh, by the way, the hard drive was sitting on tank tracks for dampening. Goodbye, tank tracks. Let's see what's going on here. I'd like to remove the USB 2.0 front headers, but I'm not sure I can do this. Come on, come on, come on! This was my power switch, by the way. See this? Quality stuff here. 50-year-old button. Connected to power and reset. We're going to use this later. So let's place it on here. Now, if I could remove this USB 2.0 thing, it would be great. Oh Jesus! Okay, and the LEDs were nice. I broke them. Yeah, then we're also going to use this for later. This is actually quite nice. These connectors are about 14 years old now. Right, well, this was pretty much the case. These are all the parts and components for what we are about to build. So, GPU, hard drive, 8 gigs of RAM, FX8300 CPU, shitty power supply, decent graphics card and some fans. That's about it for the teardown. Now we're going to make a case out of this thing here. Wish me luck. We're gonna use this thing. These are all the cuts. Let's count them up and start assembling it. Let's start by attaching the motherboard to its backplate, right? Making the backplate inserts. We could use some of these. These are motherboard standoffs, and they are pretty useful when you do something like this because you can actually mount your motherboard directly onto the standoffs. Whenever you do something like this, make sure to keep the screws in place, so don't lose them, because losing screws in a build like this can be seriously annoying. This is the motherboard. As you can see, they are the same parts as you can see on regular motherboards. You just have to buy these separately or scavenge them from old computers. I already made some marks here for where I would like the standoffs to go, so I think that we should first of all make the holes for standoffs. What could we use for this? I mean, looks good. Okay, now since this is wood and I can't really tap inside of wood to make a fitting for the small screws here, I'm going to glue this in place, and hopefully my glue will hold up. Could use something like this to do something like this if you do not have precise enough tools. Now let's see if this tiny little motherboard standoff fits. Would you look at that? Fits perfectly. Now what we do is put little bit of glue here, then insert motherboard standoff into motherboard standoff place. Yes? We do this very gently with a hammer. When I made designs I was pretty drunk, so oh, holy shit, actually most of them actually fit. That's rather surprising. Well, anyway, here's a motherboard with its very nice backplate, which doesn't sit very well, but it's here. So we can set this aside and let it glue down and start working on the actual chassis. Okay, so this would fit here more or less. This would come here. This is the back panel. And then we're going to put the top down up top. Anyway, let's glue these inserts in first. It's gonna get messy. I wonder if we could use something like... yeah, we could. Let's take a piece of wood and just kinda go like this. That's a bit more than I'd like. Let's place this on top of here. And we're going to do the same thing for this one. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought. Oh, I made a mistake. Shit. We're going to do something very stupid. There we go. Yeah. Nope. As you can see, we're not professionals at this. This is perfect. Now we let this cool off for like a few minutes and start working on the side panels. Now the way I plan on mounting the side panels to the back panels are with some of these. These are pretty nice, but also a bunch of these, This is what we're going to be mounting the side panels with. Now it's time to start gluing the back panels and the top and bottom panels together. I am a bit scared because I haven't taken the necessary time to cut them in a perfect line, nor do I have the tools to cut them in a perfect line. So I'm pretty much going blind here. But Godspeed ahead. And hope it works. I was planning to put the power supply on the bottom. This would go like something like this, and with the side oh, I am so retarded. Fuck me! I have to glue this on the other side. Right. I've made two left bottom panels, right? So now I have to put some glue on this one and... Now we've got two proper side panels. Now it's starting to take shape. I'm getting excited. So you can sort of see the basic shape of what I'm trying to achieve here. This has to go like this. Sweet! Works! You see what I'm trying to do? So this thing fits there, so it's stronger. I'm trying to figure out things as I go because I haven't really thought this through properly. This is starting to slide down because it's not actually glued in place. Bloody hell. This sits like this, right? So the power supply can go all the way into it. So that's the limit, right? Now, how are we going to mount this back panel onto this plate here? Because we're going to, first of all, we're going to have to cut a hole here so that the power supply has some sort of ventilation. But first let's mark the place where the power supply goes. For that we're going to use my trusty black marker thingy. Great, okay, so that's how our power supply goes, and we cannot use any of this space for these. So that limits our... yeah, that's not good. We're gonna need some more space here, and I'm not sure where we're going to get that space from. Maybe if I look at my blueprints over here, yeah, that's not good. No idea how I'm going to glue those in place. Right, well, what we could try to do is get the power supply on top of these things. No, we can. Ah, so close, so goddamn close. We could almost get it in there, but we can't. You see, it's covering this line, and we also need about 0.4 millimeters here. So we're going to be using these things that I bought to mount it, which isn't ideal, to be completely honest, but this is the best we've got at this point, so we're just gonna take what we can use. Okay, now we're going to drill the holes, and we're going to tighten the screws down later, but at this point I just want to see if what I'm doing is even possible. This screws through here. We're going to do this. And we take some nuts. Nuts! Everyone like nuts? I wonder how it's like to build something with actual plans. That's alright, I guess. Sweet. Power supply cutout. Yes! Holy shit, it's perfect. The power supply fits perfectly. Well, aside from a few holes. Since we got the power supply unit more or less in its place, let's make sure we can get some good airflow here, and also we're going to need some room to get the cables out. So we're going to draw a square around here and cut a hole here so we can get these cables through that hole up to the motherboard and graphics card and all that sort of thing. So first of all, the hole for the power supply ventilation. Oh, we're also going to need to make a hole for the fan that goes here, because we're going to have a fan about halfway at this point. So yeah, let the fun begin. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's mark where the power supply goes. This is going to be tricky. I've got this end. Could you not do this, please? I want to use this end. Oh, this isn't a comfortable position at all. So this is about where the power supply goes, and we're going to need a hole about the size of this radiator thing. So let's see how much we have to drill to get that hole. So about, let's say about 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter. Let's say about 1 centimeter by 1.5 centimeter. That should do it, right? Let's get the top panel out of here. This is gonna, I thought this was going to be a bit lighter than aluminum. What the fuck just fell down? No, it's okay. I thought this was going to be a bit lighter than an aluminum case, but I was wrong, because I think we're going to use about 1 kilogram of wood. Right, so about 1.5 centimeters this way. There we go, power supply mount, great. Look at this, it's very nice. Check it out. Goes like right where we need it to go. Oh yeah, this fits, so right. Is it 90? It's 90 degrees. Alright, it's starting to take some shape. There we go. Now we can route all these cables through here to all the parts on top. Go in here like this. Yay, it works, I think. Well, here we have it. One nice power supply plate. You know, sometimes I think I'm pretty smart. But in times like these, when I have mounted the fucking power supply plate above the fucking power supply, I don't feel so smart. I will tighten this with more care later. Now, I want to see this thing done. Yeah, so now we've got a power supply that can route its cables up to the motherboard. Okay, well, let's get the power supply in its resting spot. So for the moment, let's just see how the front panel would line up, because the front panel, as long as the back panel and the top panel are what's going to hold this whole thing in place. So this is going to come here, and then we're going to have a piece here to go about 5 centimeters downwards to get all the front I/O in there. So we got the front panel mounted. So now what we've got to do is get some more of these in here to get some more support for the power supply plate. Okay, so now since we've got pretty much these plates more or less in place, and where they're going to stay finally after we glue them, we should focus a bit on where we place the fans. I'd like a fan right around here, right before the end of the top of the case, so it blows air on the CPU, which is going to be around here, and the other one about here somewhere, right between these two metal things, so that it blows air on the power supply and the gravis cards. Now we're gonna have to make a bit of a hole here, right about here, so that this thing can go down a bit, so it doesn't hit the graphics cards. The fans actually are going to go this way. This isn't how it's going to sit finally, but I just want to have some marks on where it's going to sit. So from here to here somewhere we can't really put our fans, and about on top of here I'd like the next fan to be. Now, here we go. So our fans have to be below that and above this. This sets pretty nice high standard, because we've got plenty of room here to mount our fans. Somewhere like this. I mean, this fan is 14 centimeters long, and nice line for where we're going to be cutting this fan. Now we're going to have to cut a bit towards the inside of the fan, because we need some mounting holes for it. Actually, you know what we could do? We could take this about 2 centimeters here and 2 centimeters here, and line this up in such a way that it creates a nice shape for where we can get the screws for our fans screwed in, right? Yeah, that's good enough. So 2 centimeters each way. I really should have done this before we mounted the bloody plate on. Right, so that is one fan mount. Looks alright. Oh, we're going this way. And we're gonna have another one at the bottom. Okay, so this fan goes pretty much to the inside of the case. Well, my friend pretty much left, so now I'm stuck doing this thing by myself, and I have realized how much of an idiot I am by placing this 90-degree metal angle thing, I don't know what it's called, in here, because I don't have room to mount the bottom fan in the configuration that I really wanted, which is in the middle, so that I have a coherent like structure in the middle here, like something like this. Okay, so this looks alright, so let's see if we can fit the fans in here. Actually, I'd like this to be here. Oh, that's tight. That's really tight. Oh, balls. No, it has to be here. Oh, shit. There we go. That would go there, and this would go somewhere around here. You know, this is starting to look like a case. I don't have a lot of time left, nor do I have until my parents and brother go to sleep. So I've got to get this done in about an hour or so. So this thing hit up, so I'm just going to... There we go. Just so we can get an idea of how this would look. As you can see, it's just a bit wider than my graphics card. This is how wide my graphics card is. This is just slightly wider, like a couple of millimeters thicker than the graphics card. So this is what I've done today. This is day one. I've got some of the front panel, back panel, power supply mounts figured out, the fans installed, even though I wanted to install them with screws rather than hot glue, but that's what we got, so that's what we're gonna use. That's my cat, by the way. I've got some of the side panels somewhat built, but they're not exactly the greatest thing ever. They don't exactly fit. So yeah, I'll go to sleep now. See you in day 2.